So Spider-Man 2 has officially gone gold, and this is really exciting news. You know, if you've been following a production of any video game or are just heavily anticipating its release, hearing that the game has gone gold is just great news. If you're unfamiliar with the term or perhaps have never heard it before, going gold basically means that the game is finished. It's done. In terms of its internal development over at Insomniac games, it is finished. And the game is essentially ready to go out into production and get shipped. Which is really great because the game is obviously not that far away. It's about a month away now, so the fact that it's gone gold with a month to go is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. But what I want to do in this video is talk about Spider-Man 2 a little bit now that it's gone gold, and talk about what I'm looking forward to in the game and what I'm excited to see in Insomniac's long-awaited sequel. So the first major thing I'm looking forward to seeing in Spider-Man 2 is story, and more particularly character development, because one thing I really loved about the original Spider-Man is the fact that it set up a established Spider-Man universe for us to jump straight into, which is what made that game and that particular version of Spider-Man particularly unique, because that's one thing we don't normally get. Even if we skip the origin, normally we get a Spider-Man that is pretty early in his career and is at least, you know, only really starting out. Whereas what we got here in Insomniac Spider-Man was a Spider-Man who was, I believe, 7 years into his crime-fighting career, which meant that he had established relationships with loads of characters such as Mary Jane and, of course, all of his villains that we saw in that original game. Many of them he knew and had fought many times before, which created an interesting dynamic, which again made that version of Spider-Man in this particular universe stand out from the others that we've seen in different forms of media. So one thing I'm excited to see in Spider-Man 2 is kind of that development carry on further, and also to see how his development with other characters changes throughout the game, because obviously we know that Harry Osborn is going to be playing a big role in this game. Obviously he was kind of only really in the background in the first game for obvious reasons, but also, you know, new villains and stuff like that. You know, we're going to be seeing the Lizard in this game, which is really cool. So I'm just excited to see, you know, new villains introduced in this. Like, we also know, like, Mysterio is going to be in this game, and we know based on the first game, just like on Easter eggs and stuff, that Peter does know Mysterio. Like, he has fought Mysterio before, so it's just going to be interesting to see these new characters that are new to us, but just to see what relationship they actually have with Peter, whether it's brand new or if they have met before. I think that will be really fun and interesting to see, because that's what made the first game so interesting when it came to meeting new characters. The second thing I'm excited to see is gameplay improvements, and this is mainly due to the fact that we have a brand new kind of style of gameplay coming into this game, which is of course the symbiote suit. Now, in fairness to Insomniac, they pretty much nailed the gameplay in the first game, and they kind of refined it and made it even more incredible with Miles Morales. So with Spider-Man 2, they really don't have to do a lot, but the big thing they do have to work on is of course the symbiote suit. Peter is going to have a lot of new abilities coming from the symbiote suit, and we've seen, you know, when we've looked at the gameplay that we've received so far from Insomniac, we've had a good look at exactly what Peter's going to be able to do with these new movements. He's going to be a lot stronger. He's going to be able to, it seems to be like a bit more crowd control based, so Peter is going to be able to attack from different ranges. Like, he's going to be able to be a bit more further back than he normally would be able to. And then, of course, with Miles, he's going to be carrying on with his Venom abilities as well, which is really cool. Which, like I say, I really don't think Insomniac has to do much in regards to the Venom stuff, because I think Miles, you know, in his game really had it nailed down. So in terms of the gameplay, I think that the symbiote suit is going to provide a really new, interesting angle for Peter, because I think they have to do something like that in this game, because once they introduced Miles and his game, they kind of added a different element to the crime fighting. It wasn't just, you know, acrobatics and flipping around and stuff. He had like actual powers. So I think with Peter, they kind of had to do something similar. They had to give him like something extra to kind of put him on par with Miles, because Miles was actually a bit more powerful really when it came down to it. So I think they had to bring them up to a similar level, so they both were equal. And I think that them introducing Venom in this game, and thus the symbiote suit, I think was the most perfect way to do that. And also, when it comes to the world and the gameplay in the open world, I would really like to see some more in-depth side quests. I think that we are going to see something like this. I think Insomniac has spoken about how there's going to be certain missions both in the main story and also in the world where you can tackle some as Peter, some as Miles, or sometimes you can choose which one, or sometimes they require a certain character. That to me sounds interesting. Like, actually give us a style of missions that can be done in the open world, have a bit more to them, perhaps have a bit more work to them, as opposed to just stopping the odd crime, or it's just the odd small mission here and there. Like, give us something with a bit more meat on the bones. And my third point is Venom. There's not really a lot else to say other than the fact that Venom is obviously going to be a primary antagonist in this game. But I think with Venom, you know, he's a fan favorite character. He's really cool. It's great that he's being introduced here. But I think what is actually very exciting about Venom is the fact that this particular version of the character is going to be something that is a bit more rare and something we've not seen before, and a fresh take on the character. I mean, not only is it amazing that we've got Tony Todd, Candyman himself, and Zoom from The Flash actually voicing Venom, which is great, but he's also, you know, this version of Venom is going to be different. Normally, typically, Venom is, of course, Eddie Brock. But Eddie Brock isn't really a character in this universe. We haven't really seen him, really. He doesn't really have much of a presence in this universe, so to make him Venom wouldn't really make much sense. Unless they do a big push with Eddie Brock in this game and they kind of bring him in early on, but we haven't really heard that. We haven't seen him, so I'm going to say probably not. Of course, the other big character in the comics who becomes Venom is Flash Thompson. But again, with this version of Peter being, you know, way out of high school, Flash isn't really a relevant character. Like, we haven't really seen him either. So him becoming Venom, or even like Agent Venom, I don't really feel like that's a possibility. Obviously, I feel like the obvious choice for this version of Venom is Harry Osborn, who it is very much teased at the end of the first game that he is going to become Venom. It's kind of Norman Osborn's way of saving him. Obviously, he was in a coma in the first game. And with Harry coming back in this game and playing a seemingly prominent role, it would make sense that with him coming back, you would also make him Venom. But I'm excited to see that because it creates a interesting new role for Harry Osborn, because Harry, if he ever has a villain arc in the comics or in any form of media, he usually takes up his father's mantle and becomes the Green Goblin. So to see him kind of go a completely different way and become Venom, that's really, really cool. And I have seen some people speculate, you know, perhaps maybe we might be able to play as Venom in this. I personally doubt that. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I know in a lot of these Sony exclusives, they often like to switch up the perspective at one point and let you play as a different character. But I feel like, you know, with us having already two characters playable in this game with Peter and Miles, I just don't see them doing Venom. And also, Venom is obviously going to be a villain. Unless they literally do something in the end where perhaps, you know, with Venom being Harry, if Peter is able to kind of switch him over to the good side, and then maybe he's fighting then against like Kraven towards the end, maybe they'll do something like that. I mean, that would be really, really cool. But also at the same time, I feel like if they allow you to play as Venom, it kind of takes away from Peter's symbiote abilities. Like, that's kind of what we're getting in this game, is obviously Peter is the symbiote. So I don't really feel like Venom is going to be a playable character, but either way, I'm really excited to see Venom in this game and just to see exactly what direction they go with him in this. And the last thing that I'll quickly mention, and this isn't really something I want to see necessarily, it's just something I'm interested to see if they do push, and that is a tease towards Wolverine. Of course, we do know that Insomniac, the developers of this, are currently now working on a Wolverine game, which is also going to be PlayStation exclusive. I'm just interested to see if there's anything that's going to kind of hint towards that game, or, you know, sort of set up the story of it in some way. Insomniac haven't said or not said that these games are taking place in the same universe. They haven't announced that yet. They might not. They might be completely standalone, which I'd be fine with, by the way. Like, I don't think everything needs to be connected. It's kind of a pain in the arse sometimes when they do it that way. But I feel like, you know, with Wolverine, I'm just interested to see if they hint at it at all. Especially when, you know, Spider-Man in this particular universe, we do know there are other heroes out there. You know, Avengers Tower is literally in the game world, and there's references to the Avengers. There's also the Baxter Building and the references to the Fantastic Four. You can literally get like a Spider-Man Fantastic Four suit in the first game. So, you know, there's a bigger Marvel universe out there in the Insomniac Spider-Man universe. I'm just curious to see if this Wolverine that we're going to get in maybe 2024 or 2025, whenever that game's going to come out, whether that is within this Marvel universe. Again, it might not be. They might not hint towards it at all. And if they don't, if it's completely standalone, I'm okay with that. I'm just interested to see, you know, if they've put in anything in this game, just kind of hint towards that character being out there, while they develop this new Wolverine game. But there you have it, guys. That is what I'm most looking forward to see in Spider-Man 2. Obviously, the game launches on October the 20th, so only a month away, little under a month away. I'm very, very excited to pick up the game. I have pre-ordered it, so I'm very excited to go pick it up on release day and start jumping into this fantastic new story. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know, are you excited that the game's gone gold? What are you looking forward to most to play in this game and see in this game? And just overall, what's your level of anticipation for Spider-Man 2? Make sure you let me know all your own thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.